Just the other day, I was discussing with a friend how difficult it is to keep people in martial arts. Now, this conversation was just discussing the physical requirements of a given martial arts class and how that can be hard to meet. But one thing we hadn't considered would be the social aspects of joining a martial arts gym. And for reference, a book I just finished today would be The Power of Strangers by Joe Kohani. This book talks about, in general, the issues people have with talking to people they don't know, or just how difficult it is to get them open to the idea of socializing. In this book, he uses various psychological terms to discuss sometimes the anxiety people might have in these situations. One of these terms would be the lesser minds theory. Another term that he uses is triangulation, and this refers to if two people are in a given setting together and are observing the same things, then that gives them something to potentially discuss. And it's a good source of starting up a conversation. Now, how these things relate to martial arts is that you're meeting a whole lot of new people all at once. You're meeting a whole team of people all at once. And from this experience, like, real deep connections can form. And these aren't the connections that people are used to experiencing. One reason that people might not participate in a martial arts class because of their social level, that kind of puts them on pause for joining such a thing as this, is that it's exhausting to meet new people and to have all of these conversations. One thing we could consider is our social aspect, just as a community as a whole, society as a whole, is a lot of it stems from our smartphones. So I'll have a smartphone out and we'll just be scrolling through, like, social media pages, and that's what we'll use to connect with people. That connection is very low energy compared to a deep, meaningful connection provided potentially by a martial arts class. In a martial arts class, we're putting people in situations that they have no experience dealing with, and we are engaging people in a deeper level. And because these social muscles, if you will, have such a little use at this point, by going like the smartphone route for so long and lacking that exposure, that it's hard to go into a martial arts class, and it can be very taxing. Another thing is that we aren't used to engaging with strangers anymore. There's just no need, especially nowadays, post-pandemic, where even more processes have been automated. We no longer even need to go to a grocery store, for instance, as we can have things given to us. Another thing is that we don't have the theater experience as much. We can still just stay at home to watch movies. So our exposure to strangers is also being severely compromised in this new kind of era of being. And another thing is that the way we train with weights, or just in general, doesn't really expose you to what a martial arts class is like. So for instance, if we're weightlifting, we're going to be putting in our AirPods and just listen to music the whole time and try to tune out the outside world. But in a martial arts class, we're always paying attention to like what our partner is saying, what our coach is saying, and what someone across the room might be saying. Because it's a team setting, and we're all functioning as kind of like a unit. To conclude, this book was wonderful, in that it got me to think about ways that people might be restricted in joining a martial arts class that aren't physical, and that it might be just as impactful, the social dimension, when you're trying to convince, for instance, a friend to join a martial arts class. So taking that into account, what I would advise you do is talk to your friend about all of the other friends they'll make in this class potentially. And also the benefits of being in a team setting where everybody there really supports each other and kind of grows together and has similar goals in mind. I feel like if you do this, instead of just focusing on like competitions you might do or techniques you might learn, talk about the friendships you might make, you'll have greater success in convincing someone to join your class. Another thing you should consider is, as this book talks about, you'll be able to meet people of different groups just by socializing in general. It's not talking about meeting people in a martial arts class. It's talking about like when you go and socialize, then it kind of humanizes people from different groups, from different walks of life. So by meeting new people, you kind of enlarge yourself and you can take on new perspectives. So that has been my thoughts on this kind of concept of the social dimension of martial arts. And if you like this and look forward to more content, then please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. Thank you.